that they had to get in alignment with God. And no longer could it be separate in thinking, separate in feeling, separate in doing, separate in talking. That everything had to be aligned. And the way to start that off was to start with the head. It starts with God. So Christ has reconciled all creation to himself and to God. Two, Christ has united people from all nations to himself and one another in his church. And three, Christians must live as new people. Well, how do you live as a new person? Glad you asked. So in order to be new on the outside, you have to be new on the inside. That's what God wants. That's what he seeks. That's what he wants us to be. So no matter how fine you get on the outside, or how good you pedicure your toes and your fingers and your hair, and how well you shave and how built and buff you get, all that outside stuff is great. It's awesome. And I'm not telling you don't do it, but don't let that be your God. Don't let that be what's leading you or driving you. Don't let that consume you. Your inside, your inner man, your spirit. God wants to know what is your alignment? What is your alliance with him? How are you aligned with him? Like, are you putting him first, or are you putting him last? Alignment, assisted, assignment. So I went over the definitions. Alignment is the proper positioning or state of adjustment of parts in relation to each other. Assist, an act of instance of helping. An assignment, a specified task or amount of work undertaken, given, designated by a authority. So what positioning of help do you have under the authority of God? Yeah, alignment, assisted, assignments. What things are you doing that have been authorized and given to you, revealed to you by God through the Spirit, that he wants you to do? What in your life is he expecting you to do? What in your life is he expecting you to give, to say, to think? What are your talents? What things do you do that are a blessing to people? When we speak of this Paul, he was a man that terrorized and persecuted people because of their beliefs. And from an interaction with Christ, he turned into a person that promoted and preached about Christ. How could someone that so heavily despised someone turn into someone that loved and became devoted to someone? Well, he speaks of it when we read in this. When we read in this Ephesians 4, he says, till we come to the harmony of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of God, to full growth, to the full measure of Christ, so that we may no longer be children sent this way and turned about by every wind of teaching, by the twisting and tricks of men, by the deceits of error, but saying true words in love may come to full growth in him, who is the head, even Christ. He got to the point where he accepted God. He accepted Jesus as the head. Master, this is my God. This is who I'm choosing to trust in. That no longer was he a child in his thoughts. No longer was he a child in his mentality. No longer was he a child in his belief system. No longer was he a child in his spirit. No longer was he a child in his faith. That at the point of having contact with Jesus, he matured and no longer needed to persecute people because he didn't believe, or he was fearful of or hated Christ. Now he was an advocate for Christ. So he's saying, now us, through whom all the body being rightly formed and united together, us, we're all united together. Different faces, different colors, genders, yeah, but we're united together in the Spirit. Our spirits roam about. Our energy roams around and abound, and it's in each and every one of us, and our energy is transferable. That when you feel good, you can transfer that energy to someone, just like when you feel bad, you can transfer that energy to someone. And so no longer are the walls, no longer are the restrictions of not being together or thinking we're not together. We use denominations of faith as reasons to separate. We use color, we use gender, we use language, we use all these things to separate from one another. But yet we're all together. We're all one God, one faith, one baptism. But this problem is, and giving you time to think about it, the problem is we're all out of alignment. Where we're not realizing our body is out of alignment. That our head isn't right, so we're not thinking good thoughts. Our heart isn't right. We're not feeling good. So we're not thinking good and we're not feeling good. Naturally, we're not going to speak good things. We're not saying good things. So those things are out of whack. So now our spirit is all discombobulated. And so then with that, our bodies, we're not putting the things we need to put in our bodies. We're not eating healthy. We're not drinking water. We're only consuming, thinking, doing what we feel. We're doing everything out of impulse and urge. No maturity to it. No ability to stay focused. No ability to want to do better, maintain it, stay consistent. Yeah. So without doing those proper things, we all become mimics of one another. We all become puppets doing the same things. We all stay in the hamster wheel. We all keep going around in circles. We all stay in a rocking chair that we're moving, but we're really not getting anywhere. We're so out of line that some of us are so healthy physically, but mentally and emotionally we're a wreck. Some of us have great thoughts, but our feelings are so uncontrollable that they consume us. Some, all three, are jacked up. And some, we are healthy, and we can have some good thoughts, and our heart is in a decent place, but we have no faith. So our spirit is thirsty. Our spirit is dying for something. Our spirit is wanting more. It's wanting to be fed. Romans 8:28 says, and we know that all things work together for the good of those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose. It's something when you are called, because we're not calling ourselves. So the last part of that alignment, assisted assignment of that authority of God, he's the one who's calling us. We all are called to be great. We all are called to be loving to one another. We all are called to be kind. We all are called to be better each and every single day. Are we perfect? No, he's not calling us to be perfect, but he's calling us to try. He's calling us to put in effort, and we're able to put in consistent effort. So in order to do that, we have to completely buy in, completely choose, completely want to be aligned in God, with God, for God. So Paul understood this. He understood it. He got it. This interaction with Jesus, it woke him up. Yeah, it was the apple falling out of the tree. It hit him on the head, and I got it now. I understand. This is how I need to be. This is what I need to do. No longer is it acceptable for me to have tantrums like a child and only want what I want and not be mature enough in my spirit to be unconditional in loving people, to be unconditional in caring for people, to be unconditional and not holding grudges or persecuting people unnecessarily or taking things from other people. No longer am I to be immature in my spirit. No longer are we to keep holding on to habits that are unhealthy, to rituals of things